This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
We see a lot of successful do-it-yourself investors, but there's a major difference between pedal to the metal, getting up that retirement mountain, and then descending down the mountain safely into retirement.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Hang in there, and the markets will come back, and we're in the same boat as you. Is not comforting for someone who is 58, 65, 72, and there have got to be better ways to do things, and there are.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
Are you a list person? I have 4 different lists going at any given time.
I love working off a list. Love working on a list.
There's nothing more satisfying than that feeling of getting to scratch something off of that list.
Checking the list off as you go. That's right.
All right, so let's think about financial to-do lists, because in the month of February, Morningstar's Christine Benz recommends that a review of your portfolio's total asset allocation is something that you should consider, especially with all of the volatility the market is experiencing. She says de-risking is mission control. Here's Christine.
I like the idea of people who are embarking on retirement having roughly 10 years worth of assets set aside in cash and in bonds. And that way they could effectively have an asset mix that they could spend through if they needed to. If a bad equity market occurred early on in their retirements, they could tap the safe stuff first and leave the equity exposure alone.
All right, so Abe, what's your thoughts on this
How
advice?
about that?
Yeah.
How about that, Heather? We talk about this in every meeting we have with our clients. When a prospective client is considering working with us, this is one of the first things we do. We build out a roadmap and an income plan so they can see where they're headed, where they're going, and what is their income going to look like the next 5 or 10 years. In the most vulnerable period of time for most people as they retire, how are they going to get through that vulnerable period of time? Where is the income going to come from? Do they have a surplus or a shortfall? And do they have a plan for down years? And what is that plan? And just like Christine Benz said, she essentially said, the first 5 to 10 years of your retirement, you better have safe money set aside that you can draw from, so you're not dealing with sequence risk and double negatives risk and all these things as we enter in the most vulnerable period of time for our retirement. That's that first 5 to 10 years. Our working paychecks have stopped. Do you have a plan, right? If you are listening right now, do you have a plan to transition from your working career into retirement? 9 out of 10 people that meet with us when they're considering working with us, Heather, do not. They have an investment plan. And so many people in the DC metro area have done fantastic in terms of accumulating. They've got a great investment plan, but they have no plan to help them transition. So we just had a lady come in from the Bluemont and Winchester area of Virginia. She's 62. She's retiring in the next 36 months. She's got $2 million saved, and almost all of this $2 million is with a big box firm. They're an investment advisory firm who primarily manages and watches over the investments. But why is she coming to us, you ask? She's coming to us because they haven't helped her and will not help her and really cannot help her with Social Security decisions, with pension decisions, with tax planning, with legacy planning, with healthcare planning, with all of the things that people who are transitioning into retirement are concerned about. They know they've got their $2 million or their $1 million or $3 million or $500,000 or whatever it is. And most people we meet with have saved enough. But if you're listening right now and you sound like this lady and you're concerned about all the risk and pitfalls and challenges that can mess up your retirement, then you should be calling us. You should be setting up aside a time to meet with us and get a second opinion. So this lady came in with that cookie cutter 60-40 portfolio that most big box firms put you into. Well, guess what? 2022, that didn't work out for you so well, did it? You know, she was down 18%. Her stocks were down close to 20. Her bonds were down 13. She was down 18 on her whole portfolio. She was at closer to $2.5 million as the year started and ended up at about 2. 40% in bonds. Not a good thing. Right now in a rising interest rate environment, bond values went down on her. Her average yields over the last 10, 15 years on a bond side of the portfolio was only around 3%. No plan at all, as I mentioned, except for investments, right? So, but here she is, 62, $2 million. It's probably going to be enough, right? And as we built out the plan for her, we found out that it was enough. For a lot of reasons. Number one, she doesn't spend a lot of money. She spends $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And with $2 million and a Social Security check and a pension check, that's plenty enough money for her to live a very comfortable retirement and pass on money to her kids.
Okay.
So why is the conversation still just focused around the investments? Why is it not now focused on Well, ma'am, you've got $2 million. Let's talk about protecting. All right. Let's talk about helping you protect these assets. Let's talk about building you an income plan to help you transition. Let's talk about all the things that can mess this up. What are those things? Those are higher taxes. That's a healthcare problem. That's taxes and things like that. And so that's what we did. We built out for her, Heather, a phase 2 plan to help her transition into retirement. We started with the income plan. Next was the allocations. Find out where those dead and weak spots were in her portfolio. 40% in bonds was a classic spot that we were able to help her pick up and improve on. Help her to create a plan for income, which she needs. And then in terms of what Christine Benz from Morningstar said is have a plan that is tactical, that's going to be proactive, that can make changes throughout the year for you to take advantage of opportunities and to help you protect yourself on the downside to limit losses. Find out what you own, the good and bad of it, and create a plan for your future, a phase 2 retirement plan.
All right, so Abe, let's continue this conversation about perhaps our lack of awareness on our investments and what they really mean to us and our savings, because thinking about something you likely have heard about, a target date fund, it's a common thing, something you may have in your own portfolio, and its purpose is that it's an evolving mix of assets. The risk is supposed to shift towards a more conservative investment mix as you get closer to your retirement. Abe, some investors view TDFs as a kind of set it and forget it plan that doesn't really use an advisor. What's the problem with this thinking, though?
Heather, they're lazy. We call them couch potato funds. Typically, they're not the cheapest funds in your plan either, especially if you have a 401k. A lot of times the cost can be more than having funds outside of your 401k. So they're cookie cutter, they're generic, they're prepackaged. They might be convenient, but you sacrifice benefits in terms of portfolio customization, like the ability to hold underlying assets directly to take advantage of tax loss harvesting, customize the risk measure and tolerance in your portfolio. So the customization, right, that you can have outside of a 401k is huge. Tactical money management that you typically can't have in a 401k, that you can have in an IRA on your own. These would all be reasons to consider maybe rolling over a 401k and transferring assets out of a plan into the hands of a fiduciary retirement planner in a like pre-taxed account, right? Like a traditional IRA, where you can have all these options outside of the plan. And those options are typically available to you. If you're 59 and a half or older, you're typically IRS age eligible and able to roll over part or all of your plan, even if you're still working for that company. A lot of people don't realize that.
Right, yeah.
And then you could empty out your account without tax and then continue to contribute to your account and get the match. So we just had a couple call in to the show and come into the office with these same concerns, concerned about the funds that they have. And when we did the analysis on all the funds that they have in their portfolio, former government employees, we found out that a lot of money was in the 2020 and 2030 funds of the TSP. Also the G fund, good and bad, pros and cons of every investment you have, and they're certainly there. And so there are 4 on our risk scale. They don't have a plan. They're going to have a pension from the government, Social Security. They got $1.2 million saved, but they have no plan. Concerned with the markets, concerned with taxes. And so we built a plan together for them, Heather, that would put all this together for them, where we could manage the money tactically, take advantage of opportunities on the upside, limit the losses on the downside, protect their assets, help preserve their assets, build a plan out to help lower and mitigate tax. All of this is in one plan. If you're listening right now and you sound like this couple, no plan, you may have worked for the government or still working for the government, and you've got your TSP, you've got your federal benefits, but you don't have a plan to have someone help you put it all together into a plan that can make sense for you. Go to retirementkeyradio.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can begin to have these same conversations with you as well.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abish Financial Services, Inc., Virginia Insurance License number 127820.